The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, IBMI Backup Without Physical Tape, a practical look at virtual tape with our LaserVault ViTL solution. My name is Axe Signer, Vice President of Electronic Storage Corporation. We are an IBM registered business partner and a Microsoft certified partner. We've been in business for over 30 years. We're software developers, so here in our Tulsa, Oklahoma office, we have programming staff as well as technical support and customer service. So we're going to begin this session with a number of topics: eliminating physical tape handling, backup directly to local disk, SAN, NAS storage, deduplication, data protection platforms, as well as cloud storage. Disaster recovery and offsite replication options that are available within our particular LaserVault ViTL solution, reduce the risks of operational overhead associated with physical tape, and how virtual tape works with IBMI, with a live demonstration of our LaserVault ViTL configuration and backup operations, recovery workflows in the IBMI environment. This is pretty much standard connectivity from IBMI to the VTL ViTL server. So IBMI to ViTL appliance, being able to back up applications, database files, folders, even full system restricted state saves directly to the backup appliance through either a fiber channel or SAS connection. Those are the two typical connectivities that are available to a virtual tape library, which would be similar to a physical tape device or physical tape library. Recovery, where data is read directly from the VTL appliance using your existing restore commands or BRMS robot save capability. So with the VTL solution, you've got your backup repository, storage of your backups, data protection with data encryption, uh, hard disk drive encryption, retention policies, monitoring and reporting of your backups with this basic appliance that's got our LaserVault ViTL software installed and making tape libraries and tape devices virtually available to the IBMI, just like physical tape. This is our latest version of LaserVault ViTL with iSCSI connectivity. So this is virtual tape for the IBMI over standard Ethernet connection, 1 gig, 10 gig, 25 gig, 100 gigabit Ethernet, using your IBMI backup applications like BRMS, Robot Save, any of the Go Save commands, including full system restricted state saves available in the iSCSI version. So this would not require fiber channel or SAS connectivity. Those two connectivity options would require a either fiber channel HBA or SAS HBA in the VTL server or appliance. Whereas with iSCSI, you've got an Ethernet connection. So this can easily be spun up in a Windows VM with the LaserVault ViTL software installed in that VM, using your Ethernet connection, having a tape library or tape device available on the IBMI through an iSCSI connection, and then therefore also connecting to SAN or NAS storage for your backups, deduplication appliance, cloud storage like Azure, Wasabi, and Amazon S3 cloud storage. This is also flexible for existing ViTL customers, being if you're an existing customer using fiber channel or SAS, you can easily implement iSCSI alongside fiber channel or SAS for your backups. This is also cloud ready for IBMI backup and disaster recovery because it is iSCSI. Ethernet doesn't require a fiber channel connection. So I'm going to go ahead and go through a live demo of our product, LaserVault ViTL, show you some of the features and capabilities. So this is our VTL appliance, or our VTL web interface. So we're able to access the interface with the configuration of VTL's to present to your IBMI. So we got to log in with a secured username and password, giving us access to this interface. So this is going in directly to the Vital software. This is mostly used for configuration, defining and configuring virtual tape devices or virtual tape libraries, whether it's using fiber channel, SAS, or an iSCSI connection. You can look at information such as your iSCSI ports that are defined. So with a IP address and a port number, that is a tape library with a tape device, or it could be just a tape device. And there's really no limit to the number of virtual ports per iSCSI connection you can define for each of your tape devices that are using that IP address with a different port number for each virtual tape device that's going to be presented to the IBMI, meaning that you can share a tape library with multiple tape devices across multiple LPARs on your IBMI system with the iSCSI connection. Port information also shows us fiber channel connections that are available. Fiber channel connectivity, standard speed is 16 gig per second or 32 gig per second fiber channel connectivity. You do have NPIV capability with fiber channel. So for each fiber channel connection in the LaserVault ViTL server, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices defined for each fiber channel connection. With security and access to this VTL web interface, you have groups that are defined with users that have a username and password accessing this interface and having certain features available based on their group membership into this system. So this can also be multi-tenant, where you can have multiple companies, multiple entities that have access to their own virtual tape libraries within this interface. Users that are part of the groups are added here and being able to edit anytime that you need to add additional users, delete users that would have access to this interface. Tape libraries. So we have library 1 defined, which is a tape library and tape device. Library 2 is just a tape device only. So if you wanted to use this as a tape device with go save commands, that would be available with a configuration for a single or multiple tape devices. And then we have a third tape library defined for the iSCSI connection to our Power 10. So let's take a look at the fiber channel. Library 1 tape device. So we start off with a library name. This is going to correspond to this menu option on the far left, which I'll show you in a minute. And that can be named whatever that you want to be descriptive for a particular tape library that's being defined for the IBMI. These are the LTO options that are available. Typical selection would be LTO 8 or LTO 5. Just to note two things about these LTO versions. None of them have a storage limitation. So if your full backup is 20 terabytes, that would fit all on a LTO 5 or LTO 8 tape device or emulation. And there's also no difference in speed in terms of backups. Your speed would be typically double the speed of physical tape on backups, whether you're using LTO 5 or LTO 8. The number of storage slots. So this tape library that's being defined is currently set for 60 storage slots. This can go as high as 13,350 storage slots. You can always increase this number anytime that you need additional tapes added into the tape library. So this gives you an unlimited number of tapes that you can keep in storage on disk at any time to be able to go and access those tapes to do a restore of an object, restore of a library. So it gives you instant access to be able to restore as compared to a physical tape which would typically have to be retrieved from offsite storage, from vault storage, whereas all of your backups can be available anytime that you need to do a restore. There are some cache setting features within this tape library, and each tape library that's defined. This is going to give you access to determine the fastest backup and restore speed to where you can increase or decrease cache within the VTL solution that will modify the fastest backup speeds, which is typically double that of physical tape. So these are default settings of 8 meg, and they can go as high as 13 meg. So these can be used to test and provide your fastest backup speed, but typical configurations would be 8 meg for both the write and the read cache. Then we have over here to the right under paths. This is a pretty important feature because it allows you to determine where you want to write and store backups. So we have three different paths defined for this particular tape library. We have a local disk path. So we have customers that do use a server with the VTL software, fiber channel or SAS connectivity, but there is disk storage, rated disk storage on that server, whether it be spin disk or SSD storage. And that would be the local path defined within this tape library. We have a second path defined to Azure Cloud Storage, which can be a migration path. So any tapes that are written for speed and for storage to the local path can at any time be migrated or moved to any of the other two paths that are defined. So if I wanted to take any of my virtual tape backups, monthly backups, annual backups, whichever the case might be, can always be moved from local path to any other path, such as in my case, Azure, and store those in the cloud. And those are still available within the tape library so that you can actually load any of those tapes that are in Azure and perform a restore, or you can migrate the tape back from Azure over to the local path. And there's no limit on the number of paths that you can define for each of your tape libraries, and that those additional paths might be SAN or NAS storage that you can use to migrate tapes anytime that you need. Now you can also write directly to SAN or NAS storage using LaserVault as a gateway. So that means that the main path, the write path of your backups can point to an SMB share, which would be either an iSCSI connection to storage or a SMB share to local SAN or NAS storage, so you can write directly to that storage. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in the presentation of some of the technology partners we have in terms of using their storage solution and appliances for your IBM I backups. Then we have the number of tape devices defined for this particular tape library. So we have a worldwide port address and then control path yes. So to the IBMI side, this is representing a tape library, which is MLB F1 and TAP F1. So again, with fiber channel connectivity with NPIV, you can have up to 64 virtual tape devices defined for each fiber channel connection. So adding additional tape devices is done here. Those are then presented and zoned through your fiber channel switch to the IBMI so that if you want to present additional tape libraries or additional tape devices to be used for your backups. Then below we have group access. So we talked about groups earlier. As an administrator member, these are the features that I have checked. As an administrator, I can allow for viewing of the library, deleting of media, creation of media. The two options that I don't have within administrators change the write protective media, because you can do write protect on media so that it cannot be deleted, initialized, or overwritten. and migration of media, which would be moving a tape from one path to another, such as moving it from local storage or SAN or NAS storage to, say, for example, cloud storage. Let's talk about replication and retention. This gives you the ability to create replication and retention jobs for your backups. So I've got some different examples here of replication that has been defined. So you can do a number of replication jobs. You can do multiple replication jobs. We've got a network path configuration where we would write and replicate any of our virtual tapes that are saved locally to, say, for example, a disaster recovery site. So if you had a second VTL server at another location, and that would be your network path, this allows you to select and set up specific tape volumes to be replicated to that path, which is an automated process that will typically run after the backup is complete to replicate that backup virtual tape over to another location or another storage location. Other examples that I've got defined here is Amazon, Azure, and Wasabi, giving you the ability to replicate to cloud storage. And you can actually replicate to actually two locations if you want, or even up as many locations as you'd like, so that you can have multiple copies of your backups. So having copies of your backups for disaster recovery gives you the ability to recover from one or more other locations in which the virtual backups are located. And this is by far highly beneficial compared to physical tape, in which you only have one copy of the backup to tape, whereas with saving to disk, you can have multiple copies. So here we've got defining the settings for replication. We have there are email notifications that can be sent. So that would be defined with an email address or group email, in which the email is automatically sent when the replication job begins, when it completes, and if there was some error message or issue with the replication job, you would receive an email notification of that. You can define which volumes are going to be in this replication job based on the prefix, which is a prefix or a volume ID is or serial volume ID is 6 characters, and usually prefixed with one or two or three characters, and then a serial number for each of your tape volumes. So we can replicate based on all volumes, based on number of volumes. So I've got this set to 2, which means I can run this every other day as an automated job, and it would replicate the last 2 volumes that were run as backups. Path defined for the replication destination or target, compression, deduplication, encryption is all available within replication. We're going to talk a little bit more about that shortly. Local retention can be defined based on age or based on number of volumes. So if this applied to, say, for example, daily volumes, would like to keep the most recent 10 copies of the daily backups. Now, if you're using VRMS, Robot Save, those retentions are going to be handled by those applications, such as VRMS maintenance would automatically initialize tapes that have become expired within the VRMS retention and media policies. But if you're using Go Save commands and you're wanting to rotate through virtual tapes or create a new tape before a backup is run and set a retention, that would be where you would enable local retention, and you can also enable remote retention, which would be your replicated copy. So this can control both copies of your backups in terms of retaining based on number of volumes or based on the number of days you want to store each of the volumes before they can either be deleted or they can be initialized when they become expired. With the cloud storage replication capabilities, you've got Cloud storage properties have been added to each of these options, which we've already plugged in. Choices for Azure, S3, and Wasabi. And these give your cloud storage properties access to your cloud storage account so that LaserVault can replicate and write to those storage buckets within the cloud storage account. You do have a job log or a listing of where you manage jobs for replication, and you can see that we've got replication jobs that are completed. You would see any replication jobs that are currently running, and this just gives you an audit list of what you've replicated and where those have been replicated to, as well as migration capabilities are listed here within managed jobs. So we'll take a look at library one. This is where we've got all of our tapes for this particular tape library. We show a column with the volume ID, which is 6 characters prefixed by the letter D. For example, these could be daily saves, and those tapes are used for that particular retention or used within BRMS. You can go to here and create tapes. I'm going to go ahead and choose local path to add those tapes. Put in my volume prefix, which is 1, 2, or 3 characters, and typically create multiple tape images, determine the quantity of tapes, and go ahead and initialize those. So this gives you an unlimited online access of all your backups because you can add in all of your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly tapes into this tape library with as many tape slots that you need so that you can have all of those available anytime you need to perform a restore. So those tapes are added into this list of inventory. And then, so for example, if you're using BRMS, then you would add that media into BRMS to be used in your rotations. We've also got a way to you can click on labels, and this will show you the libraries that have been saved to that virtual tape. With these are all options. You can move a tape into a drive manually. So if you're looking to demode IPL from a full system save, you can move that tape directly into the tape library. Migrate gives you the ability to move the tape from one path to another, like moving it from local storage to cloud storage. Protect tape puts a write protect on the tape so that it cannot be deleted, initialized, or overwritten. The iSCSI tape library is really the same. No media is currently added to this tape library, but it functions the exact same way with iSCSI connectivity through Ethernet. You have the exact same features and functionality. When we go to libraries and we take a look at the configuration, we've set an IP address for our LaserVault ViTL connection through the Ethernet port. Control path yes. On the IBM I side, this represents this tape library and tape device. So simply adding another tape device would be add. You define another port. You can make it a control path, which would be another tape library with a tape device, or unchecked would mean another tape device. And there's no limit on the number of tape devices per IP address that you can add. They simply would just have a different port number, say, for example, 3261, 3262, etc. So part of our solution is we have a module for deduplication in a virtual tape environment. So this is going to optimize storage utilization. This is a block level data deduplication. So standard with LaserVault is compression as well as encryption of your backups. Compression averages 5 to 1. Deduplication can be as high as 12 to 1, can be 20 to 1. We've seen deduplication as high as 40 to 1 in some cases. Typical production data gives you 12 to 15 to 1 compression of your backup. So it's double or triple the compression capability with deduplication. It also reduces the amount of data that you would be replicating because it's block level deduplication. Only blocks that have new or changed data are saved. So it's not repeating the saves over and over again of the same data. So it gives you longer retention periods because you're taking up less disk space. You're going to leverage your backup workflows and really greatly reduces replication of your data and the amount of storage with SSDs being the cost as high as SSDs as they are today. This greatly reduces your initial investment into SSD storage with deduplication. One of our customers, Ecolab, was nice enough to send us a testimonial. So this is some information from one of our customers, principal platform engineer storage and backup from Ecolab. It's a simple, clean, stable implementation, made setup and configuration, migration a breeze. So it's very easy to migrate from a physical tape environment in your backups and restores to a virtual tape because it works exactly the same way, whether you're using a fiber channel or SAS connectivity or iSCSI connection to the VTL appliance from the IBM I. So LaserVault presents Virtual Tape Library to IBM I. This is a configuration where we work with many different data protection platforms such as Exagrid, Cohesity, Rubrik, Everpure, which is formerly Pure Storage, IBM Storage. So there's a really so many different platforms, but these are just some of our technology partners that we work with so that you can write and leverage those solutions for your IBM I backups. Typical scenarios where we have customers that are using these platforms for other system backups, they'd like to add in IBM I to those appliances, and that's where our VTL comes in as a gateway to write directly to those deduplication and data protection solutions. So we have quite a few customers using any one of these solutions, and they're able to leverage that disk storage space and data protection for their IBM I, and also as well as replication of the backups that are built into those solutions. So within the GoToWebinar control panel, you've got the ability, we've got some a quote sizing questionnaire you can download, some customer testimonials and technical specifications of our particular solution. Our quote sizing questionnaire gives us the ability to configure if you're needing storage for your backups, whether you use storage based on compression, which is standard with our solution, and as well as encryption, or the deduplication module, which increases your compression and reduces your replication of your data in terms of speed and in terms of the amount of data. Some of the key takeaways, you're going to simplify and streamline your backups. You basically eliminate physical tape, even the ability to move from physical tape to virtual by using dupe tape command or dupe media BRM, such as the one that's available in BRMS, to be able to be able to copy from physical tape to virtual tape, as well as being able to copy from virtual to physical. So that even gives you additional copies of your backups with virtual as a part of physical tape environment. Reduce risks and operational overhead. You have the flexibility of storing to local disk or leveraging SAN or NAS deduplication platforms, as well as cloud storage. Expand your disaster recovery with offsite replication capabilities, having multiple copies of your backups compared to just one copy using physical tape. giving you three different connectivity options: fiber channel, SAS, and iSCSI. For additional information, quotations, scheduling a demo where we can go over your backup environment for IBMI, give you some information on our licensing, which is perpetual, not subscription licensing of our software. And so we offer a lot of flexibility in terms of what hardware you need, whether you'd like to source that yourself. We do provide and can configure servers with storage, gateway solutions if you're going to write to SAN or NAS storage. So there's a lot of different ways to optimize your initial investment into a VTL solution so that you can go get away from physical tape. We also work with many IBM business partners and resellers. So chances are your IBM business partner is already a LaserVault reseller, and you can work directly through them with us to configure the solution, set up demos, things like that. We have a drawing for wireless noise canceling earbuds at the end of this presentation. So that we'll have a drawing for that, and the winner will be notified on our website and send an email. So feel free to contact us. We would love to hear from you and discuss your IBMI backup requirements. I want to thank everybody for their time today and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.